Welcome to the Expansive with Anna Gatman podcast, where we talk about how to participate in the spiritual evolution taking place at this time on our planet, how you can accelerate your spiritual growth to meet the challenges of our times, and personal tools to help you thrive, flourish, and help shift human and planetary consciousness. Because 1 degree shift can change our world. I'm your host, Anna Gatman. Thank you for joining me.
There's a quote by a rabbi called Abraham Isaac Cook. And he says, the higher the truth, the simpler it is. The higher the truth, the simpler it is. And so I want to speak today about integrating your personal, spiritual, and world work. And I want to come to it from what is the simplest basic building blocks of reality that we are all made of, the nature of reality, and to show you why it's important to be aware of your personal work, your spiritual work, your world work, how you can integrate them, why it's important, both for you personally in your life, for me in my life, for each one of us, as well as why it's important for the evolution of consciousness of humanity and our planet. So let's begin. So everything is made of energy. The world is made of energy. Everything is made of energy. Mystics have known this throughout the ages from their direct, intimate experiences. Healers know it, and quantum physics speaks of it now. It's intelligent energy. It's not just like a buzzing energy. It's intelligent energy that we call consciousness. And I'll give you an example. An oxygen atom and an atom of hydrogen, they come together and they create water. So there's an innate intelligence in the hydrogen atom, a certain constellation of information that has an intelligence. And it's the same in the oxygen and in the hydrogen. And then bring them together and they create wonder, they create water and conditions for life on planet Earth, together with other conditions, but a major condition is water on planet Earth. And so you see, it is intelligent energy. It's not just an atom. It's an intelligent atom. It might not have the reflective capabilities that humans have, but it has an innate intelligence. And so we call this consciousness. And so we live in a conscious world, in a conscious universe. Everything is energy, everything is intelligent energy, and it is sacred and divine. The same goes for example, soil, which we sometimes call dirt. Everything in nature and all of humanity and civilization is created either from what grows above soil or what grows within soil. Everything. So soil is not just dirt. It must be intelligent. It must be a conscious, sacred, divine energy that we call consciousness. So this consciousness, this energy that all of creation is made of, is flowing everywhere. It is flowing through everything. Everything that exists is made of energy, of the same substance of sacred divine consciousness. And so this sacred divine consciousness is flowing through all of your being. It's flowing through your cells and is created. Your cells are created of a specific constellation of this divine sacred consciousness. And then your muscles are created from this divine sacred flow of consciousness. And your emotions are, and your thoughts are, and all of your being, physical and non-physical, everything is created from this divine sacred consciousness. And this divine sacred consciousness, as it's flowing, is the sacredness of creation. And so when you're dealing with issues, a health problem, a financial problem, a problem in a relationship, whatever you're dealing with, self-esteem, Wherever you're dealing with an issue, a challenge, that is a place where divine sacred consciousness is not flowing fully and freely through your system, through your being. It's stuck somewhere. It's distorted somewhere. It's stifled somewhere. It's denied somewhere. It's trapped somewhere. And so when you do your personal work, you are actually releasing that energy, allowing that energy to flow more freely in your being. That's your personal work. Now, your spiritual work is not just meditating. Meditation is a way to connect to the sacredness of life, to having less thoughts, to expanding your consciousness and remembering the essence from which you come, to remember the sacred consciousness that you emanate from. And so, because it is sacred consciousness that is flowing through everything, I believe that your life, my life, our life is a spiritual practice. Creation is a spiritual practice. Life on earth is a spiritual practice for humanity and for nature. And so, whatever personal issues that you are dealing with, again, financial problem, health problem, a relationship, self-esteem, whatever it is, those are places that are your unique spiritual practice. So we can all meditate, and there's a lot of value in quieting our mind, saying a mantra, taking time off from the world. But a potent spiritual practice is your unique personal life. So you might learn through a health issue about how to have patience in your life. Someone else might learn patience through the business that they're running. Someone else might experience and learn the lesson of patience through parenting or through something else. But your unique issues that you are working with, your unique personal life, is your unique spiritual practice. And so you can have a spiritual practice that's separate and add it to your to-do list, and it could be a strain, or you can enjoy it and take pleasure to take a moment away from the busyness of your life. But you can also just live life with the awareness that your life, whatever is happening to you, is your spiritual practice, and start to see it from that perspective. Suddenly, you're not just a result of circumstances, childhood circumstances, the relationships you're in, the location in the world that you're in, the social economic status that you're in. All of those exist in the human world, but you're also a spiritual being having an incarnation, and whatever your circumstances are is your spiritual practice. So rather than going, I'm a victim of my circumstances, it's like, okay, instead, these are the conditions that the universe is teaching me my spiritual lessons. I am growing spiritually. I'm releasing stuck energy in the different areas of my life in order to have more sacred divine flow through me. So this is my spiritual practice, so I will do it. Because otherwise I might feel like a victim. I might just feel like a victim of my circumstances. It's just too big, and I've felt it, and you probably have too. These places, it's just like our circumstances, our internal world is just overwhelming. But if I can remember that it's my spiritual practice, then I'm going like, okay, let me practice this. So this is how you're offering me to practice my spiritual practice. Then let me engage and let me do it and let me move on to the next lesson. I don't want to be stuck here forever because of what happened to me when I was 4 years old. I can be informed by it. It might be a source of understanding and deepening, and there might be gifts and gems in the 4-year-old in me. But I also want to go on to the next lesson because it's my spiritual practice and I don't want to be stuck on the same spiritual lesson my entire life. So that's how your personal work is your spiritual practice already. And if you do it intentionally, then suddenly you are practicing all day. Everything you're aware of, little miracles, you're aware of synchronistic events. It's like the universe is speaking to you all the time. It's your spiritual practice all the time. And it doesn't mean that it's hard work. It's just you're living life with this awareness of like, this is my spiritual practice for today. Let me see if I can do it. I woke up in a bad mood. Can I shift it? It's my spiritual practice. It's not just the circumstances from yesterday or my life. So that's the first step of how your personal work is your spiritual work. Now, we each have aspirations, right? Dreams, goals that we have. So how does that fit in? Well, when you have an aspiration, you're actually wanting to increase the flow of divine sacred consciousness through your being, through your personality, through your life. So while the issues and the challenges that you are dealing with are places where this divine sacred consciousness is stuck, your aspirations, your dreams, your goals, your vision are places where you're wanting to embody more of this divine sacred consciousness. You want to increase the flow of this divine sacred consciousness throughout your life, through your world, through your being. So that's the simplicity of it. Divine sacred consciousness flowing through everything. Everything is made out of it. If this divine sacred consciousness is more dense, it is in matter, it is physical. If it's more fluid, it is non-physical, from gas to our emotions, our thoughts, and into the inner world, the spiritual realms. But it's all made of this divine sacred consciousness. And our goal in life is to increase the flow of it so that we feel that we are sacred, precious beings, and that we begin to see the world as sacred and precious. And so seeing this through this divine sacred consciousness flowing through everything, and either we want to amplify it and bring more of it, we are ready to grow our container, or it's stuck somewhere and we want to see how can we unstuck it, how can we allow it to flow more freely in our being. Now, how this all relates to world work is that just like while we are separate human beings born into individuation, we also share a pool of consciousness as a human species. And so that pool of consciousness, our human consciousness, is part of that pool. It's invisible to us, but we share a pool, a field of human consciousness. And we can affect that field. When something huge happens in the world, if it's a war or it's something amazing that has occurred that's joyous, like an eclipse maybe, then it affects all of human consciousness, either through fear and terror or rage, or through joy and a feeling of connection and being part of humanity. So we share in this pool. We just don't think about it that way, but we share it. And the World Wide Web, the internet, allows us to share it even more, sometimes to a benefit, because we can watch something that's beautiful that's happened on the other side of the planet and it lifts up our spirit. And many times, because the news like to report all the horrors occurring, then we are affected by negative things that are going on. And it's informative also, of course. But so we share this pool. And so we can affect this pool. So when we allow, through our aspirations, for more divine sacred consciousness to flow through our being, our life, and our small world, we are allowing more divine sacred consciousness to flow through the pool of humanity. And when we feel stuck and when we suffer and when we are attached to suffering, maybe because we see suffering in the world and we feel, I can't experience joy when there's so much suffering, and we continue to suffer ourselves, we are influencing the pool of humanity. And so whether you are more focused in the private realm, in your personal work, I invite you to see your personal life as your spiritual practice. And I invite you to see you doing your personal work as your contribution to the human pool of consciousness. And so when you release more energy, divine sacred consciousness, into the world, when you work on an issue or when you fulfill an aspiration that you have, you are helping evolve and elevate divine human consciousness. Now, if you are more focused on world work, if you're a change maker, an activist, I invite you to see that as your spiritual practice, because it's your personal life, even if it's more in the public eye or committed to a cause. That's your spiritual practice. And I invite you to see also your personal work as significant, so that you are more of a clear vessel for divine sacred consciousness to come through you. And it will help better and clarify and amplify the work you do in the world. So wherever you're at, more private or more public, more into world work or more into spiritual work or more into personal work, integrating the three through your awareness, know that at whatever scale you're at, your personal work is your spiritual work. And when you do your personal work as your spiritual work, you are doing world work. And when you do your world work as your spiritual work, you are amplifying the availability of sacred divine consciousness on this planet through the pool of human consciousness, the shared pool that we have of human consciousness. So this is a much more expansive way to look at your life. You're not just a result of your circumstances. You have agency. You can work on your personal issues. You can see them as your daily spiritual practice. And you are contributing your work to evolving and elevating human and planetary consciousness. That's why it's important to integrate your personal work, your spiritual work, and your world work.